بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا، وعلمنا ما ينفعنا، وزدنا علما، وفقهنا إذا علمتنا. We recite inshallah in Arabic, then I'll try to translate. No one to read the translation, right? So I'll try to translate, my Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalam. The author rahimahullah ta'ala did say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala sahbihi tayyibin wa tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yawmiddin. Wa ba'd, faqad sannafa al-allamatu al-mashhur Shamsudeen Mohammad ibn Ali ibn Tulun الصالحي المتوفى سنة 53 و926 كتابا في الأحاديث الأربعينية، أورد قائمة بها في كتابه الفلك المشحون في أحوال محمد بن طولون، وهو اهتمام نادر لا نجد له مثيلا بين علماء الإسلام. ولكل واحدة من هذه الأربعين التي صنفها توجهها الخاص وسمتها الفريدة بين هذا الكتاب النادر الذي اهتم بما روي عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في صفة الرحمة وشأن الراحمين. Ibn Tulun is a very famous muhaddith. Okay, he has many books, about 40 hadith. As you may be familiar, you have the in some many weak chains, to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the one who keep 40 hadith, is going to be rewarded as being, one of the scholars, or whatever, in that regard. And this author, he has many of those books, and we are going, inshallah, to mention one of them regarding the mercy and merciful people. ولابن طولون اهتمام بالغ بالحديث الشريف، ويذكر في سيرته الذاتية في الكتاب المذكور، وهو يذكر في سيرته الذاتية في كتابه المذكور أنه أقبل بكليته على هذا الفن الذي باد جماله وحاد عن السنن عماله. قال: ومالت نفسي إلى الاقتصار على مداومة العمل فيه والإعراض عما ينافيه، لقول الحافظ أبي بكر الخطيب البغدادي: إنه علم لا يعلق إلا بمن قصر نفسه عليه ولم يضم غيره من العلوم إليه، فأخذته عن خلق من الشيوخ الأئمة المسندين إلى غيرهم ممن كتبت عنه من الأعلى والدون والمساوي، ممن زاحم 500 نفس، وأجلهم علما وعملا، وإن كان فيهم من هو أعلى سندا منه، من لم تقع عيني على من يدانيه في هذا الشأن، فضلا عن نظيره أستاذي، بل أستاذ غير واحد، ممن انتفعت بتحقيقه المحدث الإمام ناصر الدين محمد بن أبي بكر الشهير بن زريق، وقد أفردت له مشيخة، فقرأت له عليه نحو 700 جزء، وصحيح البخاري وسنني النسائي رواية ابن السني وابن ماجه، وسمعت عليه صحيح مسلم وسنني أبي داود الترمذي، ثم مسند الإمام أحمد، وما فاتني منه قرأته وغير ذلك مما لو سردته لقضى الواقف عليه بالعجب، كل ذلك في مدة نحو 10 سنين. He was specialized in hadith. This is part of the Islam knowledge, Islamic knowledge. When you are specialized, in such a specialty, this specialty by itself, you should spend significant amount of time. It's not that limited, Quran is much more limited. Hadith is much more open, That's why you have some specialized people, in hadith you have some specialized people in fiqh, okay. Many of the other sciences, they may be limited, to their subject. And he mentioned his Shaykh, that he has a chain, to him, and many or all of those famous book, in Hadith, namely Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, and Nasai, and Imam Majah, Musnad Imam Ahmad. Either he read them himself, to his Shaykh, or he listened to someone, reading these great references in Islam to his Shaykh. And this is within 10 years. What you may understand that he spent almost the 10 years seeking such a knowledge. This specialty, we should have full respect to it. I'm sorry to tell you, nowadays you have many people, they try to put down such specialty, especially in Islam, and they feel everyone, since he is Muslim, that means he has the full right, to speak, about anyone, and to weigh anyone and consider anyone. This is maybe applicable for some people, not applicable for the most of us. I remember, in that regard, Ibn al-Jazari, this is a famous specialized person in Quranic sciences. He mentioned about a person who passed away in the 5th century, I think 400 something, or perhaps the century before, 4th century. He has 3 shuyukh. On the 3rd Shaykh, he recited the Quran in the 7 different qira'at. How many times? 90 times, 90. Okay. What I imagine, such a person, apparently he spent all of his time with Quran, and this is possible, in this life to happen, but it needs a lot of experience, lot of time consuming, and you name it. I cannot put myself, next to such a person, because this specialty, and this way of handling these things, is going to make the person, an expert, such a thing. They used to tell us, in Azhar Sharif, this is a large mosque, back in Cairo, and one of those specialized, area that some of the famous you may read on him, and he doesn't have the book, just out of his memory, because of frequency, he had many people, they read this book on him, he's going to have it, as such, What I'm trying to say, it's a matter of specialty. We highly respect everyone who is specialized in medicine, and then one of the field, neurology, nephrology, you name it, But in Islam, we consider all of us Muslim, and we try to get ourselves, involved in those matters. That's why I would like to subdivide Islam to 2 ways. First way is your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is all of us, without exception. We have the right and we have the channel, to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other side of it is scientific side. It's a matter of gaining sciences, like when you have someone, in Quran, even a young boy, he may say, you are mistaken, in this, this is not the verse that if someone say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, say, no, the boy may tell him, this is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. You got my point, here you have religion, you have 2 bifurcation or 2 subdivision, of it, One is your relation with Allah, and no one has the right, to interfere with it, The other side of it, it's scientific, okay? And by this you may have people, they may correct you, and it's a time factor, there, and massive exposure. Some of us may be much more smarter than the others, Some of us, it may take them, few years. The others may take them that long, But no doubt, anyone who is going to spend this amount of time is going to be much more experienced in such a way. Why I should speak thoroughly, about this point, because I'm sorry to tell you, nowadays you have among the specialized and non-specialized. When I have specialty, let's say in Quran, I don't have the authority since I'm specialized in Quran to speak about Hadith, okay? When you have someone specialized in Hadith, he doesn't have the authority to speak about fiqh and you name it, nowadays in the universities, you have it well recognized back in the Middle East. 4 years you are going to learn Islamic sciences, Some of those graduated people, they feel themselves, they have the full authority to speak about all Islamic, which is completely wrong, It's they perhaps they open to you, how to get yourself, read the books, and get in touch, or have shuyukh, But it's no way, all Islamic sciences you are going to get them, within 4 years, You got my point. This is a very important point, And we receive a lot. And nowadays, I read in my laptop, a lot of criticism, from some people who are not that expert, in that field, their word for me doesn't mean anything, For others, they may be looked at, at big shuyukh. This is one of our problem, Back in Syria, we call everyone Shaykh, Who is the Shaykh? Shaykh may lead the prayer, in the mosque, maybe specialize in one of these fields, or more, For the common people, for the public people, persons, everyone is called Shaykh, They don't have the full recognition between someone and the others, And that's why the specialty there, we should put a lot of consideration. Some will say, this is a lie. Within 10 years, it's impossible to happen. He said, you are going to see some unbelievable, way, really, this reminded me, you have a famous person in Tasawwuf, the books that he had read, in fiqh, in some of his books, introduction, I see my time, it's almost impossible to have it in such a time, That's why we receive a lot of questions, is i'tikaf better, or making umrah better? See, we have, listen, I have this day, this is for eat, drink, sleeping, I'm going to volunteer to give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of my day 24 hours, half hour or whatever, Ya Allah, where do you want me, to spend this half hour, whereas those people, they're those experts, they don't care, about the time, they don't care about their eating, they don't care about their sleeping, and I did observe another specialty, I used to be in US, you have a lot of physicians, nothing personal against anyone, They are going to be practitioners, in the society, and they build their fame, their money, and their. Sometimes they take us, to those high rank, hospitals, namely like University of Ann Arbor, in US or whatever. You find people there, they restricted themselves, to the hospital, They are not that rich, I imagine such a person when they go back home, they are going to dream about something, taking place. And what I'm trying to say, we should respect in any specialty we should respect those people who are well experienced, That's why I would like, when you have scientific criticism against Bukhari, let's say, I may agree, I may disagree, but I should respect this person because he speaks scientifically, When you have non-scientific wording, against Bukhari, I'm sorry to tell you, perhaps this is a bad thing, to be done, but inside myself, I don't respect this person, because he did not speak scientifically, okay? What I'm trying to say, all those sciences, they have the rule. When you come through these rules, you try to criticize one person, you may have right, you may not have right, But when you don't go by these rules, I don't think I have a right, okay? So that's why, yeah, this is the whole point, if you take this message, from me, you have in Islam a pile called sciences, okay? The Arab, they used to be illiterate, before they did not do anything. Most of these knowledges, they came from the Quranic, matter, and you have the difference. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, he showed the difference, among his companions. What did he say? أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في دين الله عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان some narration وأقضاهم علي بن أبي طالب وأقراهم لكتاب الله أبي بن كعب وأعلم بالحلال والحرام معاذ بن جبل وأفرضهم زيد بن ثابت ألا ولكن إن لكل أمة أمينة ومن هذه الأمة أبو عبيدة بن الجراح. يعني what I'm trying to understand, even among those great generations, the companion, you have some specialty. This person is most knowledgeable, in fiqh. The other one is most knowledgeable in the Quran, and you name it. ثم ذكر أعلى أسانيده التي يروي عن طريقها فقال وأعلى أسانيد بالكتب الستة مع عدة الوسائط فيه مع مصنفيها 9 أنفس. This is, you have in that chain, when the time come, you are going to have it much, you have longer chain, here he is proud of his chain that you have 9 persons, between him, and the authors of this book, this is, we call it in Arabic ulu, okay? When you are high, that means you are much closer to the Prophet ﷺ. In Bukhari, you have 16 different, without repetition. With repetition, you have 22 different hadith, sulasi we call it. Yani, between the author, Bukhari, and the Prophet ﷺ, you have 3 persons, okay? In Muslim, you don't have anyone, of them, all of them, they are ruba'i. You have 4 persons, I'm not going to go to the details, for the other. Yani what I'm trying to say, there is some ulu, okay? This is something praised, by the those who are specialized. When you have less number, of people, in your chain, between you and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For sure, as you may feel, you have the time factor, you have many other factors, even in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of the companion even, they did not hear everything from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have them, hear this, through someone else, You have seen that companion, يعني like a large text like the Holy Quran, it's not hadith, which is 1 line or 2 lines or 3 lines, okay? You have some of them, recited the whole Quran. But these are, most of them, they are senior, companion of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have the junior companion like Ibn Abbas, like Anas ibn Malik, and whoever, they recite on the senior. You got my point? They are companion. You have some famous reciter of the Quran, some of them, those who are old, and their rear, and generation, they may recite the whole Quran, on some companion. Those who come later on, they may be considered successors, because they did meet with some of the companion, but they did not recite the whole Quran. You got my point? Yani you have some competition, about the ulu, how high you are, and they mean by ulu or being high, the lesser number, of people between you and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In his time, he was proud of that's between himself, and the authors, not between him and the Prophet. They were 9 persons in chain, and he gave example of it. Musnad al-Imam Ahmad, Shafi'i, Darimi, and Abd ibn Humayd. I think anyone who is interested in hadith, he should get familiar with this name. Shafi'i, he did not collect his book, himself. This was done by some of his students, Yeah, whereas Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, he did it himself, okay. يعني here most of us or all of us, we have some narration, okay. Some of us, they are going to do it, themselves. The others will be done, by their student, Here from the four famous, scholars, namely Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi, and Ahmad, two of them, this was done, by some of their student or someone else, to collect their narration, and put it in one book, namely like Imam Abu Hanifa and Musnad al-Shafi'i, okay. Then you have Muwatta Imam Malik, this was done by him, and Musnad Imam Ahmad was done by him. You got my point? Yani not necessary when it's related by name, to such a person, to have him, he did it himself, وأعلى ما عندي مطلقا, the most high chain, speaking the author about himself, ما بيني وبين رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالسند الواهي فيه 10 أنفس. I have weak chain, he said in this weak chain I may have 10 persons, between me and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. He passed away in year 953. وهو أعلى ما وقع لأعظم شيوخنا بل لأعظم شيوخهم، وبالسند المتماسك فيه 11 نفسا، وبالسند الصحيح مع السماع 12 شخصا. He gave the example, then he said the one which may be accepted, a little bit stronger than the weak chain, you have 11, and by the authentic, chain which you have everyone, hear this, from his Shaykh, you have 12 person, between me and the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. فلا عجب إذن أن نرى له هذا العدد مما صنف في الأربعينات ولو غيرها من كتب الحديث الشريف. Okay, يعني to have those books, written. Then he spoke about the scripts, we are not interested, in the script, Okay, we'll move after it. I did not notice that this is the introduction of the one who printed or edited, Well, then we'll start with his introduction. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي عمت رحمته سائر المخلوقات حتى الدواب، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله وجملة الأصحاب. يعني here he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His mercy, is applicable to all creation, including he said here the animals, I think all objects, and he makes صلاة وسلام على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. وبعد فهذا تعليق يشتمل من الأحاديث على 40 في فضل الرحمة والراحمين، بعثني إلى تخريجها أن الرحمة قد قلت وذهبت من الخلائق وولت، وذلك علامة الغضب والوقت، والله أسأل العصمة منها في كل وقت. يعني why did he put these 40 hadiths, about mercy? Because he felt that in his time, the mercy has been lifted up, and this is maybe indirect sign, signal of having anger, or wrath from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's side. Nowadays we have much worse, than this. This has been described, by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have a people, with very nice tongue, that their tongue is going to be much better than the honey, okay, and their heart is going to be like the wolf's heart, Okay, this in different description was described. Yani, this is, I should mention it. Don't be deceived. By the people. If he smiled and said good morning, or whatever, don't feel relaxed, because something going on in that particular heart. Okay, and this this description was given, by the Prophet ﷺ to certain time. I think it's applicable to our time when we have many of people. They have the skin, of the sheep, on the heart of the wolves. This was mentioned in many hadiths. We'll move to first hadith, and he's going to mention the chain all the way from his side, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أخبرنا أبو المحاسن يوسف بن حسن أحمد بن الحسن الصالحي من لفظه وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبرنا أبو إسحاق إبراهيم بن أحمد بن ناصر الباعوني قراءة عليه وهو أول حديث قرأت عليه. وأبو الفرج عبد الرحمن بن الشيخ خليل بن سلامة القابوني وأول حديث سمعته عليه. قال أخبرنا الحافظ أبو الفضل بن العراقي قراءة عليه ونحن نسمع وأول حديث سمعناه منه. أخبرنا أبو الفتح الميدومي هو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبر النجيب أبو الفرج الحراني وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبر الحافظ أبو الفرج بن الجوزي وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبرنا أبو سعيد النيسابوري وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبرنا أبو صالح أحمد بن عبد الملك المؤذن وأول حديث سمعت منه. أخبرنا أبو طاهر الزيادي وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. أخبرنا أبو حامد محمد بن أحمد وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن بشر وهو أول حديث سمعت منه عن عمرو بن دينار وهو أول حديث سمعته منه. عن أبي قابوس وهو أول حديث سمعت منه. عن عبد الله بن عمرو قال بعضهم وهو أول حديث سمعت منه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا أهل الأرض يرحمكم أهل السماء. وفي رواية ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. This is, we call it hadith musalsal. What the meaning of musalsal? When you have certain statement or certain description, come from the narrators from one after another, And here this is by awwaliya. This is the first narration or the first hadith that I have ever heard, from him, This is called al-musalsal bil-awwaliya. And to best of my knowledge, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, this is end by Sufyan al-Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, which I don't see here at all. I don't see him, He have it, mentioned all the way to Abu Qabus, and there is some possibility that this is the student of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. This is a companion, that was the first one. This hadith is sound or authentic, okay, but the tasalsul, this is the first hadith. Most scholars, they said it ends, at Sufyan ibn Uyayna. This is in the level number 4, okay, because he has his Shaykh Amr ibn Dinar, and the Shaykh of Amr ibn Dinar is Abu Qabus, and the Shaykh of Abu Qabus is Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, a companion, So that's why they usually tend to give this hadith at first, to everyone, to keep this chain, of the tasalsul. That's mean, to have the chain with the same description, that the first hadith I have heard of him, This is about mercy. Those who are merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He used the holy name Ar-Rahman, is going to be mercy with them. Then the Prophet ﷺ instructed us, be merciful to those people, in the earth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be merciful, with you. So here, mercy, it has a lot, of application, That's as a Muslim, this the Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has many names, You have the name derived from mercy, used after the holy name Allah, okay? And you have not all, plenty, of the holy names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala related to this merciful, name. In one hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say that His mercy, is going to be superior, or is going to be stronger than His wrath or anger, You have some what we call jalali or majestic description to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the description of the other side, or the merciful one, is going to have significance there. This is the balanced way, of having, the merciful, and the tough one, inside one person, This has happened to the Prophet ﷺ, for sure. Among the creation is the most one, to match the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I feel that he is going to be the same, He has mercy, he has toughness, His mercy is going to be much more superior than his toughness, as the attribute, as the names, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We find, some prophets, the example was given by him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some angels, some companion, they are going to be deviated more to the merciful, side, and you have some of them, they are going to be deviated to the tough side. Example of the first one, among the prophets was Sayyidina Isa ibn Maryam, Sayyidina Ibrahim. Okay, they are very famous prophets. Among the angel you have Sayyidina Mikael. Okay, among the companion you have Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. From the other one, you have from the other side toughness. You have among the prophets you have Sayyidina Nuh, Sayyidina Musa. Among the angels you have Sayyidina Jibreel, and among the companion you have Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab. The Prophet ﷺ, I think in sound hadith, he did say that I have two ministers, of the earth, two ministers of the heaven. The two ministers, of the earth, they are Abu Bakr wa Umar. The two ministers, of the heaven, they are Jibreel and Mikael. And this is just to tell you how perfect was the handling, from his side, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you feel that this is not mercy done, by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have something wrong, because he had all of those helper, and consultant, spiritual and physical, in his time, Okay, when you feel this is too mercy, again you have a problem. It's not that problem, you feel yourself deficient, that side. When we start speaking up about it, this became a problem. Okay, yeah, we are expected, all of us, without exception, to be far in some of those matter, close to another matter. Okay, I would like to judge me according to his statement and to his actions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I feel myself, I'm quite close, I should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in my nature, in my understanding, to be close to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I feel myself, this is too much, I cannot, that's me, not the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has something wrong, I have something wrong, in my nature, okay? That's why I'm far, okay? And this is even among the companion, they gave the bay'ah to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to have complete obedience, whether this is easy or difficult on them, whether they like or dislike. You got this point, and وَعَلَى أَثَرَةً عَلَيْنَا. What's the meaning of وَعَلَى أَثَرَةً? This is for me is too much. Okay, what's the meaning of عَلَى? So just assume a person now entered, and he has a lot of gifts, and he start giving, everyone a gift, and he bypassed me, how I'm going to feel, I'm going to feel really bad, They gave the bay'ah to the Prophet. Even if you give priority or give preference, to someone over us, we are going to have complete obedience. Yeah. And this is against to what we think, the Prophet ﷺ did describe it. Usually I give some people, and bypass someone else, because you don't have that large amount of money available in this time, or food or whatever, and those who I bypass because of the strong faith inside themselves, and this is opposite to our look, okay, because of their strong faith, that's why I bypass them, and so here the standard is completely different. I'm sorry to tell you, even in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and until now, the Prophet ﷺ was criticized by some people in his time. This is your cousin, that's what are speaking about, The Prophet ﷺ is going to be deviated for his cousin, or no. He not even for himself, He's going to work, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to be just, according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standard, Yani, you have many criticism, not many, few criticisms, at the time, of the Prophet ﷺ. Nowadays, I'm sorry to tell you, we have many of them, and this is for, you should have full confidence in him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Whatever he did, this is the best thing, for us, whether we understand or not understand, whether it's difficult or easy on us, And this is narrated in Bukhari that one of the junior, companion, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited this certain contract about the farms called Muzara'a. And the senior one, his uncle, he said, just think, about his comment. What did he say? He said, we used to have a benefit in such a contract. This is the experience. But to follow the Prophet is going to be much more beneficial to us. You got this point, Yani here you may be faced, sometimes that you feel this is going to be beneficial to you, and the Prophet ﷺ said no. And this has been highlighted in the Quran, Wine and gambling, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say that they are going to be harmful, and beneficial. Some of the Muslim fellow nowadays, when they medically, find out that the wine, this is good, for heart or whatever. Now they'll get angry, Don't get angry. Why did you get angry? This is mentioned in the Quran. In the Quran, you have some benefit, of it, You have some significant harm, and usually the harmful, side of them, they are going to be much more. What I'm trying to say, okay, let me broaden the look little bit, okay. In this life as humankind, you have the two streams, okay. One is experimental, okay. When I try this water, I did not like it, I have the choice, to take other juice, or other, okay. We have something which is quite limited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited wine, prohibited pork, But those are the exception, not the rule, Here in this life, you may do, you may like whatever color you want, you may practice whatever practice, you may have in breakfast, whatever you like, okay, and whatever, On the other side, religion. What is religion? Religion, your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is when it comes, from equal ends, both of them, they are going to have input, and outcome, okay. When it has this relation between very deficient person and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is quite dominant, okay, the deficient one should just receive the massive transmission, from the other side. And we are, as Muslims, we are quite rich, in it. Why? Because you have the Holy Quran with this massive transmission. You have the prophetic practice. We tend to do it, all the time, Who did tell you, that Fajr prayer is 2 rak'ahs? Who did tell you, that for Zuhr prayer? Who did tell you that you should direct this? Who did tell you that when you make wudu, and you start prayer, you are facing Allah, I feel myself, if I'm going to think about it, and have some experiments, for it, for millions of years, I will not come to this conclusion. You got the point, Here, please don't overlap one over the other, okay? You have, and this has been mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did He say, subhanahu wa ta'ala? يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. Okay? These people who were described, in the Quran, they have massive knowledge, about the manifestation of this life, but they are completely heedless, about the hereafter. Okay. When we overlap, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not speaking about Australia, I'm speaking about Middle East, you have many people there, they feel those who are civilized than us, they should be much more knowledgeable in religion, and you name it, And that's why many of them, they became, free of religion in their mind, because those who are advanced, they are much, whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it completely different, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did describe, the hypocritic, in the Holy Quran. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ تُعْجِبُكَ أَجْسَامُهُمْ. You are going to find them, with nice shape, nice looking, وإن يقولوا تسمع لقولهم, they make sense, when they speak, يعني if you are going to judge the person, about his shape, and about his talk or speech, you may be deceived, by it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look to your bodies, doesn't look to your shape, rather, as mentioned, by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he looks at your what? At your heart. Yani I'm not here, I cannot look at your hearts, the people's heart, when you smile at me, when you shake your head, I feel happy, about it, but I don't know anything, about the hearts, and this is I try to summarize it, I'm concerned about myself. Everyone should be concerned about it. All of us, we love ourselves, okay? But the love of ourselves may be applied, to this life, being, in very nice clothes or whatever, or for the rest of our life, okay? Because the Muslim should look at this particular life, as one of his stages, He had many stages before, and at least we have 2 stages, after it, When we die, and we are going to be in the grave, stage, then in the hereafter stage. And what I'm trying to say, we should be concerned, about other matters, okay? In the hereafter, this has been mentioned by Allah. قَالَ رَبِّ لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. How come, Ya Allah, you make me blind, in this life? And all of my life, in the hereafter, He make him blind. And all of my life, I used to be in very strong sight. I give the answer from my side, because you did not fix your inner, You did not fix your heart. The Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam heart was described by the angel. It contains 2 eyes and 2 ears. When I don't have 2 eyes, and 2 ears, inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all the audience, I'm going to be blind or deaf, the hereafter. You got my point, So what I'm trying to say, firstly, I should thank all of your people, to come, and seek this knowledge. Secondly, you should be concerned not only of this life, of the hereafter, okay? You should guarantee yourself, personally, I don't have any channel, I'm going to be complete failure if I try to have some experiments, for the hereafter, okay? I'm not going to understand Quran. I'm not going to have this practice, of prayer or fasting or you name it, But when the messenger of Allah make it available to us, we as Muslim, we are quite, inshallah, in good position. We have a treasure in front of us, I'm sorry to tell you, many Muslims, they don't know the value of this treasure, in front of themselves, and that's why they tend to throw it away, if someone, given some money, okay, he may, we'll call this hadith, da'if, weak hadith, okay, the Quran, he cannot say so, he's going to have bad interpretation, of it, or whatever. What I'm trying to say, please, cope with me. When I hear something, and I am here, and the verse of the Quran or the prophetic there, rather than bringing them to me, and I'm quite lazy, okay, I should stand up and go to them. You got this point? Why? To get some improvement, okay? This is, I have a weak point there, and I should improve myself, okay? So, and this is, this life, you never ever, with few exceptions, have anyone, without a problem. For this baby, who is, 3-4 days, if they did not change, for him, it's going to be the most disastrous matter, in the life. It's going to keep crying, This is for him, a problem. And what I'm trying to say, all of us, we are going to face some hardship, in this life, okay? So, but when we look forward, and we have such a great thing, waiting for us, we should sacrifice, we should use whatever given to us, to help us to this, when a person, in the presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Allahumma inni as'aluka tamaman ni'mat, the complete of favor. He said, do you know what the meaning of complete of favor? This is the Prophet said, do you know what the meaning of tamam al-ni'mah? Tamam al-ni'mah dukhul al-jannah. Those favors that are given you. You are smart, you are rich, you are nice looking, you are this, you are that. If this help you to enter the heaven, the favor is going to be completed on you. If someone, failed to enter heaven, I'm not here to argue with it. You have favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this did not lead you to heaven. You have many people, nice shape, nice speaker, nice, rich, too rich, and you name it, but this will not help them, will not work for them, to go to heaven, So what I'm trying to say, I give this example, sorry to keep speaking, about it, because I think this is very important point, Some of your people, they are familiar with Surah Yasin, okay? What do you read in Surah Yasin? قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ, about that person, In many interpretations, that person was young and was killed, by his people, Anyone who is going to judge that position, that he was killed, you see, poor person, young person was killed, In the meanwhile, he heard قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ, okay, enter the heaven. You got my point? Yani you have something apparent, you have something manifested, make many people, feel sorry about such a person, In the meanwhile, this person, this soul, here entered the heaven. I never experienced this, but in my view, when he here entered the heaven, if he has the worst pain and the worst outcome, in this life, doesn't mean anything for him, Because here, entered the, you got my point? Yani this is the one of the comparison, between this life and the hereafter, okay? So don't fool yourself, okay? All of your people, you are smart, don't be stupid, Don't sell, and this has been mentioned by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't sell your religion, for someone else, life, or for your life. And I do see both of them, Some of them, they sell it for their life. Some, they may sell it, for someone else's life. Which means, that particular person is completely bankrupt, complete bankruptcy, in this life and in the hereafter. It's not well recognized here, not looked at, I give you this example. These are relatives to me. Okay. Young people, they used to study, in the Islamic school. Then the father of one of them, and the uncle of the other, he worked hard, and he considered this significant procedure, from his side, to make them complete, in the life sciences. I do know them, up till now. Who are they, in this life? They are not well recognized. One is expert in computer, and they are of those large group, that you have many people, they work and serve, for this life, I'm not telling you, but this is a possibility. If they continue, in Islamic teaching, they may be well recognized, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standard. You got my point, We tend, all of us, to be interested in this life and some achievement, I'm not telling you, I don't know your people, but my assumption, most of your people, you are not well recognized, in this society, You are going to be clerk, earn some money, got married, and that's it, Some of those people, they were recognized by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standard and by the prophetic standard. You recite in Quran, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ. This is good servant of us. Allah said, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ. You have, even the statement comes from the Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, about some people. He said, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ Abu Bakr, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ Umar, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ Sa'ad ibn Mu'adh, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Then the narrator, he said, بِئْسَ الْعَبْدُ, but he did not mention the names, يعني بِئْسَ الْعَبْدُ so and so. يعني what I'm trying to say, even in the look of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I put a lot here there, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not going to be like an ordinary man, who look from the apparent, how we are going to work, how we are going to raise up your family, how we are going to feed them, or whatever, He's going to look at your heart. Okay? And by this, he praised some because they were successful, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standard, and he condemned some. And this should be our case, Are we going to be praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or condemned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I have no doubt all of us, we are drowned, in the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of us. But is this thing, going to work for us, or not, Do you have a case? Yes, I have a case. Okay. Our great father Adam, Sayyidina Adam, by deceptive measurement, from Iblis, he went outside the heaven. Okay. And Iblis gave an oath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will not let anyone, go back. All of us, we have a case, against Iblis. We don't have any case, against Allah. We don't have any case against the Prophet. We have a case against Iblis. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala summarized. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Your enemy is Iblis. Consider him as an enemy, okay? Because he is the real enemy for you, okay? I have a case there, we feel bad, we have been treated badly, by this creation of Allah called Iblis, because he sent away our parents, from the heaven, and we have an appointment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should return back. إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ. All of us, we have an appointment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? The main two things to take away, of keeping up this appointment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is great, is perfect, it's not going to miss the appointment. Who is going to miss the appointment? A deficient person like me. What are the main factors, to miss the appointment with Allah? You have two main factors. The first factor, love this life, and the other factor is shaitan or Iblis, that mentioned before. Okay. If anyone, this I feel they are quite sensitive, points, If anyone has any question, feel free to ask, when we finish, inshallah. I don't know what the designation when we are going to. We'll move to number 2 hadith, Please don't get fed up, because you have the long chain, between the author, and him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Inshallah, we'll get barakah in the first chain, Now we'll do. Okay, okay. Inshallah, we'll break for 10 minutes, then return back for second hadith. Okay. Barakallah. Sorry if you don't like this, massive explanation that I have, I'll go quicker, or whatever. Yani personally, I don't feel that we are rushed, to inshallah we'll finish this text, over 2 days, But this is not my own aim, This is my look, This may be right or wrong, The common problem that we have it nowadays as Muslims, I should highlight those things, This is my main concern. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Mohammad. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Before moving to the next hadith, I would like to highlight that there is a famous person mentioned in the first chain is Abu al-Fadl ibn al-Iraqi. This is very unique expert, in the hadith. Okay, Hafiz. I may highlight some of these people that I know. We'll move to next hadith. أخبرنا البرهان إبراهيم بن عثمان المرداوي الصالحي من لفظه أخبرنا أبو حفص عمر بن أحمد بن محمد بن السليم البعلي سماعا عليه أخبرنا أبو الفرج بن الزعبوب أخبرنا أبو العباس الحجار أخبرنا أبو عبد الله بن الزبيدي أخبرنا أبو الوقت السجزي أخبرنا أبو مظفر داودي أخبرنا محمد السرخسي أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الفربري أخبرنا أبو عبد الله البخاري. This is the usual chain that you have it to Bukhari, حدثنا أبو اليمان أخبرنا شعيب عن الزهري حدثنا أبو سلمة بن عبد الرحمن أن أبو هريرة قال قبل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حسن بن علي وعنده الأقرع بن حابس التميمي جالس فقال إن لي 10 من الولد ما قبلت منهم أحدا فنظر إليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال من لا يرحم لا يرحم. That means the Prophet ﷺ kissed his grandson, Sayyidina al-Hassan. He has a Bedouin person sitting there, and he was surprised because he has 10 of the children. He never kissed any of them, and the Prophet ﷺ did answer, whoever did not show mercy will not be, will not have first mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is in indirect way, tells us how difficult was the task of the Prophet ﷺ. He was in certain culture, Many people, they have some expectation from him. These cultures and environment may be changed, all over the time, You may have complete change, of it, complete look, Now, personally, and perhaps all the audience, we feel this is strange, to have 10 children, without one kiss, is strange. For him, for that Bedouin person was a strange, action, to kiss one of the grandson, or whatever. Yani what I'm trying to say, you have those aspects, of Islam, If you are going to measure it, them, according to your environment, or the way you look, you may be successful or not successful. When you measure them, in the broad and common look, that this is this the messenger of Allah? Is this Quran the book of Allah? Is this religion, the religion of Allah? You have many, I may estimate them, 100,000, mas'ala or subject, that you may be able, to convince someone, about them, you may not be able, to convince the others, about them. You got my point, here, that I believe, and everyone should believe, that Islam is eligible for all time and places, They are not going to be the same, You have different culture, you have different setting, you have different community or whatever, So here, as I said before, I should move, to the Islamic instruction, okay? I don't, here you have something basic, something essential. Then you have the details of matter. Some of these detailed matter will be agreed upon by everyone, like this, this hadith. The other, you may have some controversy, among the fuqaha or whatever. Whenever you have controversy, you have the flexibility. What I'm trying to say, those basic matter, or base of your religion, don't give it away for anyone, Those who are flexible matter, you may give them away. The first one, to establish this was the Prophet ﷺ. He has those people, come from Taif city, Thaqif, okay? They were quite tough, and they did not declare Islam till almost the end of the life of the Prophet ﷺ. They came on year 9, months 9. And they started negotiating with the Prophet ﷺ. Leave our idol, or our God, for 3 years. He said, no way. This is basic, okay? 1 year, no way. 1 month, no way. Whenever my people, they will reach it, they're going to break it down. We are going to become Muslim, no prayer. He said, no way. Then, this is in Sirah we read it. We read elsewhere that the Prophet ﷺ gave bay'ah to them, without paying charity, not zakah, charity, okay, and without fighting in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said they are going to pay charity and to fight. And what I'm trying to say, the Prophet ﷺ did give up, some of those flexible matters, but he did not give up, any of those basic and essential matter, okay? And I think as Muslim we should have full recognition between what's basic, and essential, and what's not basic or essential, okay? Now you have, I am Hanafi, okay? Hanafi, that's mean, I'm not going to give away any of the Hanafi school, for anyone. This is maybe for the person may work, but it's not going to work for everyone, okay? I am so and so. What I'm trying to say, many of those titles, they were given today, they don't have account. Myself, and yourself, we are servant, of a great case, called Islam, called religion, and we should be servant of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that regard, and get our maximum benefit, of it, by serving the people for it, You should serve the people to have massive, acceptance and agreement with Quran, and they recite Quran. You should have this, for prayer, and you name it, because these are essentials, The other matters, I highly love them, One person, was sitting with me and want to convince me that those who doesn't make Mawlid kafir. I told him, no, they are not kafir. And he tried. I love Mawlid, I do Mawlid in my house, But to call them kafir is different story. And what I'm trying to say, okay, whatever you like, whatever you love, no one has the right, to argue with you about it, But you don't have the right to make it a religion for the others. You got my point? Okay, and this is very important. We should have full recognition, of the matter has been established by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even himself, بأبي وأمي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he will say, لولا أن أشق على أمتي لأمرتهم بالسواك. For me, the thing that is loved by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is much more superior than anyone love. He doesn't like, the people to come with him with bad smell, of their mouth, but he will not make this compulsory on them, He loves this a lot, but he's not going to make it compulsory. Even himself, when he feels something, that he hated, a lot or whatever, is not going to adopt it, as tradition, or compulsory, or whatever, of that regard, okay? When he do so, we should be as such, especially those who are expert in fiqh, okay? When we say this is disliked, this is recommended, okay? The people, they do look to you as faqih person, They don't want to know, what you like and what you don't like. They want to know the Islamic rule of it, okay? When we speak about essential, please don't give away any of them, okay? When we speak about other matters, you may be more flexible. You got my point? This is very important point. And here, really, I feel, I don't know if you share with me, I feel how the Prophet ﷺ, he came in an environment, some people, they may consider kissing the kid, is very shame, and other matters, some of them, they are going to be proud of their tribe and whatever, and he tried to change all of these matters. We may have some other problematic matter, nowadays, we shouldn't apply it to our religion. You love it, do it. Okay, but don't, if it's halal, to be done, but don't dictate on people that all of your people, should do it, okay? On the other hand, when you have the essential or basic matter, I'm not going to give it away for anyone, I'm going to, I may keep silent, for the benefit of it, or advantages, but when I'm asked, about it, I will say that this is haram, cannot do. You got my point, yani? Here, when you speak up, about certain issue, you should be quite clear and quite honest. You may feel this is harmful for you, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help you, okay? When it comes to your desire and your nature, it's completely different story, okay? I'm not here on this, seat, to speak about myself or to speak about my nature or whatever, I'm quite confident, if this is the case, I'll have much less, audience, or perhaps no audience at all, okay. Yeah, you got my point? This is very important point, okay. And the Prophet ﷺ did suffer of it, in his life, because you have different people with different look. Let's see this messenger is going to do. Okay, or whatever, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he was quite polite, on the other hand, he's going to convey the message to everyone, there is some areas, I look at them contradict with each other, and the Prophet ﷺ is going to hold them in very smart way, one of the example of them, he used to have very simple life, The great person with simple life, it contradicts with each other, and he was one of the smartest one, to hold, the simplicity and the greatness, of it, The last comment, about that particular hadith, this is my view, I think most of your people, they are familiar that the Prophet ﷺ cut down, the prayer from 50 to 5, in number, not in reward, okay? I feel all obligations, all prohibited matters, they have been cut down, by him to the least possible one, okay? And the Prophet ﷺ is going to be quite restricted, and well organized for them, On the other hand, Nafila, he left the door open, for everyone. You got my point? I'm sorry to tell you, nowadays you feel some people, they are going to restrict you for Nafila, even though, sometimes in their practice you don't find them that they are great, practitioners, for their obligations or prohibited matter. You got my point? Here we should try to neglect ourselves, neglect our need according to the Islamic case, when I want to enjoy my time, I want to fulfill my desire, go to your room, and have whatever, but in front of everyone, you should be otherwise. And this is one of the problem, it started in US, they said, this is free word, What shame, I'm going to do it, in my room. I'm going to do it in front of everyone, And the Prophet ﷺ was one of the first one, to condemn such an action, You have, your wife is halal for you, but it's not going to do, in front of everyone, whatever you do, in the bedroom, You got, and the Prophet ﷺ condemned those people, who start not doing, speaking about it, Okay, you got my point? Here you have, and this is started, I think, in the US, they said, what shame there, I do it, I'm free person, No, you should have some privacy. You should, whenever your people, did not come here to listen to my desires or nature or whatever, You came here, to learn, about your religion, and I should be as such, Even though I may not be as such, but I may not be that nice speaker, or quiet one or whatever, But I should pretend, And this is a problem with some people, This is not here in this country. It happened back in Syria, One of my relatives was working with a person, and the Adhan called on. He said, let's go to mosque. He said, am I crazy to go to mosque, My father used to beat me up, for all prayer, and I'm not going to go to mosque, at all. And here, some of us, they are going to know Allah, to relate themselves to Allah through some people, I think this is completely wrong. Okay, this is wrong from your side. This is wrong from the other side. When they try to show that their desires, or their nature, this is what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala wants. Those habitual matter, those everything, you may do them, you may practice them, but don't apply them. Sayyidina al-Bara ibn Azib, once a person came to him, he asked him few questions, about Udhiyah, about this Qurbani matter during Eid al-Adha. He set up, what he have heard, from the Prophet. He said, that person, the asker, he said, I don't like, to slaughter such a sheep or whatever. He said, what Sayyidina al-Bara ibn Azib tell him, do whatever you like, don't do whatever you dislike, but don't make it a religion for the other. We'll move to next hadith. الحديث الثالث أخبرنا برهان إبراهيم ابن عمر إبراهيم الحنبلي أخبرنا أبي أخبرنا الحافظ أبو بكر بن المحب أخبرنا القاضي سليمان بن حمزة وأبو محمد المطعم وأبو العباس الدرمعي قال قالوا أخبرنا أبو عبد الله البغدادي أخبرنا عبد الأول بن شعيب أخبرنا عبد الرحمن بن مظفر أخبرنا عبد الله بن أحمد أخبرنا محمد بن يوسف بن مطر أخبرنا محمد إسماعيل الحافظ. Here is the same chain, if you compare it, but he gave the actual name, of them. There he mentioned Abu al-Waqt al-Sijdi, Abu al-Muzaffar Dawudi. Here he mentioned the name. It's the same chain to Muhammad ibn Ismail. This is Imam Bukhari. This is his name, okay? And this is, I think, the same chain. حدثنا عمرو بن حفص حدثنا أبي حدثنا الأعمش حدثني زيد بن وهب قال سمعت جرير بن عبد الله عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من لا يرحم لا يرحم. يعني this is an indirect way tell me that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم in different occasions he used to say this hadith, whoever not merciful, that the mercy of Allah will not reach him, and this is in indirect way tell me, how the Prophet ﷺ faced those matters, the habitual, or the environmental matter in his life or in his time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the man should be a man, shouldn't kiss, anyone, shouldn't show any softness to anyone, Nowadays we have I feel two of them, they are extremes, we should find the middle line, and the best middle line ever, what has been established by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's why Imam Bukhari, he did bring, this hadith from different chain, okay? It is completely different than the first chain, completely different companion, and you name it. We move to hadith number 4. أخبرتنا أم عبد الرزاق خديجة بنت عبد الكريم الأرنوية أخبرتنا عائشة بنت عبد الهادي قالت أخبرنا أحمد بن أبي طالب أخبرنا حسين بن المبارك أخبرنا عبد الأول بن عيسى أخبرنا أبو الحسن داود أخبرنا أبو محمد الحموي أخبرنا أبو عبد الله بن مطر أخبرنا محمد بن إسماعيل. Again, this is the same chain, in different pattern, I don't know how did he change. Here we have the same persons, mentioned, in previous hadith. And this is what the benefit of it, The benefit of it, some of those who try to find out, is this hadith weak or sound or authentic, they may get lost, in some name, because this is not the most familiar name of that particular person. So he tried to give different names to the same person, not to make you fooled, by this way, okay? This is, I think it's very good, and practical point, the one he make it, أخبرنا محمد بن إسماعيل الجعفي حدثنا أبو نعيم حدثنا زكريا عن عامر قال سمعت النعمان بشير يقول قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ترى المؤمنين في تراحمهم وتوادهم وتعاطفهم كالجسد إذا اشتكى عضوا تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. Here the Prophet ﷺ gave an example, Example is significant portion of the Quran, or we may consider it one of 7 different types, examples of the Quran, and this is to make us, understand, we may not understand the theory, completely. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to set an example. And here in this particular hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, set an example, to it, in their mercy, and taking care of each other and love each other like one body. The whole Muslim, they are going to be like one body. If I feel something, is going wrong to happen to my hand, I'm going to put it away. Okay, I may push away something. You got my point, and this should be my attitude, toward anyone, want to hurt, any of those believers, we just go to hell, I don't care about them. No, this is not Islamic. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did praise the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by it when he said, Azizun alayhi ma'anittum harisun alaykum. Okay, that's mean it's going to be difficult, on him, or hard on him whenever you have some burden, or some pain. This is mentioned in some salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I don't know how accurate is it, He said, whenever any of you is going to have a thorn, I'm going to feel the pain of it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to feel the pain of it, You see how he holds the burden, of us, and this should be our attitude, We should care about other Muslims, If something happened in Bangladesh, or there or here, the people here, they should be aware of it. They should feel some of it, Alhamdulillah, as I said before, we are drowned, in the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they are hungry, if they are homeless, or whatever, you should firstly appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done to you. Secondly, you should feel some of those matter, that they are suffering of, The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he hit Medina, every day you have Jafnat Sa'ad ibn Ubadah. Very large dish, of him may contain one camel, not like our dishes, Yet the Prophet ﷺ, many occasions will suffer of hunger, and will not have anything available for him. I try to ask myself, how come, where is this dish, where did it go, And I give the answer, the Prophet ﷺ apparently is going to give preference to someone, else, on himself, because you have short of food, you have short of security in Medina al-Munawwara, especially in the first days, and the Prophet ﷺ used to give preference over himself. Yani what I'm trying to say, this is not theology, this is practical. Okay? Yani we as Muslims, we have the best theology ever, namely the Holy Quran, and besides it, we have a great person who practiced all of it, Sayyidina Mohammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kana khuluquhu al-Quran. Okay? This is, even though maybe felt, that it's easy, it's not easy at all, to have theology, to have this great high instruction, and next to it you have someone, practicing it, Even the companion, this is unbelievable for us, So when he sallallahu alaihi wasallam captured Bani Nadir, up till now, a person took me in Medina al-Munawwara to their area. You have a lot of palm trees there. This has happened on year 4. The Prophet ﷺ gave the choice to the Ansar, consulted them. Either I'm going to divide it evenly, between you and the immigrant, or I'm going to give it all to the immigrant and let them get out from your houses and your farm. Because when they came to Medina, the immigrant, they shared with them, the houses, the farm, everything. What was the answer of the Ansar? That we should be too proud of. They said, no, Ya Rasulullah, you are given to give it completely to the immigrant, and they are going to stay in our houses and farm. And they were praised, by Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصًا. They are going to give preference for someone else over themselves, Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ used to do it. I still remember when I was in the 9th grade, one of the teachers, he said, This is impossible to happen, to have such a thing, يحب لأخيه ما يحب نفسه, to love to someone else whatever he loves to himself. This is, I fully understand. But to give preference, I cannot. What I'm trying to say, many of those teaching, for us, unbelievable or not impractical or whatever, they have it in the practice. I don't know. Are they from different, planet? They came from Saturn, they came from Mars or whatever, or we are crazy, or both crazy. I don't know, Okay? Here, really, when you look at yourself, you look at your children, for sure we love our children, I think they used to love their children much more than us, but yet, I'm sorry, about it, they used to love Allah much more than us. Okay, that's why, they are not fool, they are not stupid, they will give preference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over their desire, over their, and this has been clarified by Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab. He said, don't you think that I don't know how to cook, and have very nice food, and he start describing, those matters, but I just give away, those matters, for the hereafter. Okay, here we are not speaking about stupid person, about a person doesn't know what the meaning of fine food or fine life. Okay, but he did give away those matters, to have better life. In his time, Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, you have the dramatic change, in the time of Sayyidina Mohammad and Sayyidina Abu Bakr. You don't have a lot, of life assets, In the time of Sayyidina Umar, you have massive opening, of those matters, And almost everyone got changed, except Umar al-Khattab. And the people, they sent his daughter, who was the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, to convince him, to change his lifestyle. He said, I'm going to seek your judgment, How did you live with the Prophet ﷺ? And he starts speaking to the extent he made her, cry, because she remembered the days that she had with the Prophet ﷺ. And what I'm trying to say, some of these, not all of them, some of these companions, they have the dramatic change, they have massive opening in this life, but they did not change the style, the way. I'm not saying it's haram, we may enjoy our time, we may enjoy our favor, but let it work for us, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's not going to work for us, to make us, get closer to Allah, perhaps it's going to be much more harmful to us, than beneficial to us. Move to hadith number 5. أخبرنا أبو عمر يوسف بن البدر المحدث، أخبرنا القاضي أبو بكر البعلي، أخبرنا أبو عبد الله بن اليونانية، أخبرنا السيد محمد وأبو العباس الصالحي قال أخبرنا الحسين الحنبلي، أخبرنا أبو الوقت السيوفي. Again, here you have the same chain. أخبرنا أبو المظفر الداودي، أخبرنا أبو محمد بن حموية، أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الفربري، أخبرنا محمد بن إسماعيل بن المغيرة، حدث البخاري، حدثنا ابن أبي مريم، حدثنا أبو غسان، حدثنا زيد بن أسلم عن أبي عن عمر بن الخطاب قال قدم على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سبي، فإذا امرأة من السبي قد تحلب ثديها تسعى إذ وجدت صبيا في السبي أخذته فألصقته ببطنها وأرضعته، فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أترون هذه طارحة ولدها في النار؟ قلنا لا وهي قادرة على ألا تطرح، فقال لله أرحم بعباده من هذه بولدها. Our messenger, was great, in delivering the message of Allah. It's not only verbal, verbally this may, occupy the significant point of it, but he may smile sometimes, he may cry sometimes whenever he has anything, happen in front of him. He's going to get the maximum of it, to give the example. You got my point? And here he was, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, great, in conveying the message, He want the companion, and we after the companion, to understand the meaning of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he has this nice picture, in front of him. A woman was searching, for her son, got lost or whatever, and whenever she found him, she hugged him, and start breastfeeding him, He said, you see, right away the Prophet, what did he say? Do you think this one is going to throw her baby, in the fire? No. If she has the possibility, this is the answer he did receive. If she had the ability not to throw him in fire, will not throw him in fire. He said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is much more merciful, than this woman, and her baby. Really, I admire this way, of explanation given by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is not hesitant, to have any view, any example, any matter, of this, you observe, you hear, you feel, you experience, to have it, applied to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I hope that we have as such, we go see how great is the nature, we go to see the green, we have a lot of them, here, but as I was told, in the midland, of Australia, you don't have any of those matters, and really this amazed me a lot, when I was in New Zealand, a person, took me to some of the beaches, and forests, and he's going, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on all of them, which amazed me a lot, and here, I'm not telling you this is haram, go to this matter, but you should remember how great is Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ did give example of it, one time. He said, إِنَّمَا مَثَلِي وَمَثَلُكُمْ كَمَثَلِ قَوْمٍ فِي صَحْرَاء أتاهم شاب نظيف الرائحة فقال لهم ألا أدلكم على أرض خير من أرضكم فيها خضرة وفيها مياه. And that's mean, and he gave examples, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of himself, like a young person with very nice smell, he came to the people, in a desert, they were about to die, no eating, nothing there, no drinking. He told them, should I take you, to a land better than your area, you have a lot of water there, you have a lot of green matter. Yes, please, all of them, they rushed, behind him, and he take them, Then he came again. He said, shouldn't I take you to another land, much better than your land, more green, more water. Some of them, they followed him, the other they did not follow. Why in the first time, all of them, they followed him? Because they are not going to lose anything, okay? They are not going to give away anything. In the second step, some of them, they did follow. Why? Because they have this massive experience. This person was truthful, when he promised us that's going to take us, to such described land, he did do it, and he's going to do it again, okay? And the others, they said, no, we have, very nice life here. Why you should give away, and go with him, No, we are going to stay here, okay? And this is very, very meaningful, example of him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is our case, we have been promised by Allah, we have been promised by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in many different, ways, that we are going to move to a much better, area than this area, Many of us will be, occupied by the nice car, the nice housing, and nice food, and you name it, and sometimes we may commit, sinful action, for this is in a way, it means that we are not that confident, about what he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to be truthful in his life. he did mention about something is going to happen in the future, subhanallah, whatever, we see some of those described by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are going to find it exactly the same as he described, I take a lesson of it, that the hereafter is going to be the same. Okay, now all of us, we are going to be shipped to another stage which is not similar to this stage, in everything, no oxygen, no food, no currency, no iPhone, nothing, there, Yes, there is oxygen, there is currency, there is iPhone, but they are in different pattern than this life, And the Prophet ﷺ is the best one, to tell us, about those items, And we should be confident, And that's what the king, of the Roman, he asked one of those people who was not Muslim at that time, he asked him, did he commit any lie? They said no. He said no. And when he answered him, he said, it's hardly, to find a person, did not commit a lie to anyone and is going to lie on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, yeah, and this was the case with him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never ever, experience any lie from his side, And this is, I'm sorry to tell you, in his life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was well known, among the non-believer. Whenever he speak about anything, is going to take place. Nowadays, you have many Muslims, they are not that confident, about what he said, Okay. This is and there is another factor, it came to my mind now, barakah or blessing, The Prophet ﷺ did mention that a person, I don't know, perhaps from his time or the time before, he dreamed that go to that particular place and take 100 silver coin. He asked, is there any barakah or there? They said no. Just forget it. He did not go. He did not bother himself, Next night, he dreamed, go to that, another area, not the same area, go to that area, and have 100 silver coin. Now, any barakah? They said no. He did not go. Third night, to go to third area and have one coin, not 100, one coin, of silver. Is there barakah? They said yes. Right away in the morning, he went there, and got that coin. Here, to have this massive amount, of money. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us, and none of us will be experiencing this, If someone has a cancer, or his wife has a cancer or whatever, is going to spend 10 times, the amount of it, If you have, I'm going to share with you people, this story, I work in a hospital, in US, and the head of the radiology was from Syria, he told me this story, The head of radiology before him, American one, he retired, because apparently he collected significant amount of money. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him a child to this person, and make him waste all of the money, To the extent he returned back to the department, asking my friend, I want to work there, Subhanallah. You see, this is one of the physical explanation, of barakah in this life, Don't look only at the quantity, look at the quality of it, We have a lot of barakah, In our prayer, we have barakah, We pray 5 times, we get reward, of 50 times. This is unbelievable, This is impossible to happen, for anyone, In this life, no employer is going to give you 10 times, we have this, we experience it, Perhaps we know small portion of it, inshallah, in the hereafter we are going to know the significance of it, because the Prophet ﷺ did say, ما الدنيا في الآخرة إلا كما يجعل أحدكم أصبعه في اليم فلينظر بما ترجع. The Prophet ﷺ in this particular hadith, he gave comparison, between this life and the hereafter. How do you compare them? When you have the ocean and you have your finger, down, is going to get wet, with some water, Whatever water left, in that particular finger, this is the dunya, and whatever left in the ocean, this is the hereafter. حديث نمبر 6. أخبرنا البدري حسن بن عبيد المرداوي أخبرنا أبو العباس الفولاتي أخبرنا التاج بن بردس أخبرنا أبو الفداء بن الخباز أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الإربلي أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الفراوي أخبرنا أبو الحسين الفارسي أخبرنا أبو أحمد الجلودي أخبرنا إبراهيم بن سفيان أخبرنا مسلم بن حجاج. This is the usual chain of the second book, صحيح مسلم. This is the chain of it, حدثنا ابن نمير. This يعني we are quite يعني happy, up till now, all of these ahadith, they came from either Sahih al-Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, the most authentic books, after the Holy Quran, with the exception of the first hadith. حدثنا أبو معاوية عن داود بن أبي هند عن أبي عثمان عن سلمان قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله خلق يوم خلق السماوات والأرض 100 رحمة كل رحمة طباق ما بين السماء والأرض فجعل منها في الأرض رحمة فبها تعطف الوالدة على ولدها والوحش والطير على بعضها البعض فإذا كان يوم القيامة أكملها بهذه الرحمة. This hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, this is not his attribute, he created 100 mercy. And each one, in its size, like the earth, and the heaven. And he put one, in this life. By this one, you have the mother, is going to take care of her boy, and all the merciful, actions, in this life is part, or portion of this one rahmah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to add this rahmah, this mercy, to the 99 one which was left, be completed by 100, and is going to apply it to the hereafter. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be merciful, on us, الحديث السابع أخبرنا أبو البقاء محمد بن العماد العمدي أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الحراني أخبرنا أبو محمد تدمري أخبرنا أبو الفضل بن عساكر أخبرنا أبو الحسن الطوسي في كتابه أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الشاوري أخبرنا عبد الغافر بن محمد أخبرنا محمد بن عيسى. This is الترمذي, I think. No, this is different one because the commentary. أخبرنا أبو إسحاق الفقيه أخبرنا أبو الحسين القشيري حدثني الحكم موسى حدثنا معاذ بن معاذ حدثنا سليمان التيمي حدثنا أبو عثمان النهدي عن سلمان الفارسي قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لله 100 رحمة فمنها رحمة بها يتراحم الخلق بينهم 99 ليوم القيامة. The same companion and the same successor, of this hadith, but different chain after it, and almost the same description, of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but here he did not mention explicitly that they are going to be added, and you have total of 100. الحديث الثامن أخبر أبو الحسن علي بن عبد الله بن أبي عمر أخبر محمد بن سليمان حضورا في الثاني أخبرنا عبد الرحمن بن غنائم أخبرنا أحمد بن هبة الله أخبرنا مؤيد بن محمد أخبرنا محمد بن الفضل أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الفراوي أخبرنا أبو الحسين بن عبد الغافر أخبرنا أحمد بن عبرويه أخبرنا إبراهيم بن محمد أخبرنا أبو الحسين النيسابوري حدثنا محمد بن عبد الله. Again here, according to the comment, this is the chain of Muslim. Abu al-Hussein Naysaburi is Muslim. I do not remember that this is Muslim, but that's what he said, and this is, sounded that chain, of Muslim. As I said before, he give different names, or whatever, حدثنا محمد بن عبد الله حدثنا أبي حدثنا عن مالك عن عطاء عن أبي هريرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن لله 100 رحمة أنزل منها رحمة واحدة بين الجن والإنس والبهائم والهوام فبها يتعاطفون بها يتراحمون وبها تعطف الوحش على ولدها وأخر الله 99 رحمة يرحم بها عباده يوم القيامة. وفي رواية أنه يجمع 100 يوم القيامة فيرحم بها عباده. وفي أخرى أنه لا يرحم يوم القيامة رحمة حتى يتطاول لها إبليس رجاء يصيب. قال بعض العلماء ولا تناله ولا من نزع الله رحمة قلبه في الدنيا فلم يرحم عباد الله عز وجل. This is another companion, Sayyidina Abu Huraira. The previous two hadiths, from Sayyidina Salman al-Farisi about the same subject, here about the same description of the 100 mercy created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in one narration that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to add them, and they are going to be total of 100. In another narration, even Iblis, the shaitan, is going to expose himself. May he get some of the of those merciful, action, okay. You see, we got it, from different companion and different chain. Okay, and you have the two coming hadiths, they are going to be the same. أخبرنا أبو العباس أحمد بن عبد الله العسكري أخبرنا الإمام الكبير أبو بكر مقدس البعلي أخبرنا التاج بن بردس أخبرنا العماد بن الخباس أخبرنا أبو عبد الله الإربيلي أخبرنا أبو الحسين الفارسي أخبرنا أبو أحمد زلودي أخبرنا إبراهيم بن محمد بن سفيان أخبرنا مسلم بن حجاج. This is again the usual way or the usual chain of Imam Muslim. حدثنا يحيى بن أيوب وقتيبة بن حجر قال وحدثنا إسماعيل عنون بن جعفر عن العلاء عن أبي هريرة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال خلق الله 100 رحمة فوضع واحدة بين خلقه وخبأ عنده 100 إلا واحدة. قال بعضهم لأمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم منها يوم القيامة النصف كما أنهم نصف أهل الجنة وهم أرحم الأمم في الدنيا ولهذا سمي النبي نبي الرحمة فمن نزعت الرحمة من قلبه خشي عليه ألا يكون من أمته. We have the same hadith, different pattern, done by the same companion Abu Huraira. Then you have the commentary from some scholars that the nation of the Prophet ﷺ will get half of it because they are half of the people of heaven, and they are the most merciful people, in this life. This may sound for some of us, not accurate, but it's completely accurate, I know about a Lebanese, person, still alive. He was Christian, he became Muslim because they have the civil war, in Lebanon, in the 70s, and early 80s, and he used to hear from these people, his people, different, completely different what he used to hear from the Muslim people, and this make him Muslim, I asked him directly, why did you become Muslim? And he told me about this issue, about the civil war and how the practice of the non-Muslim against the Muslim and how the practice of the Muslim and that's why they were described here, وهم أرحم الأمم في الدنيا, they are the most merciful, one, in this life. And this experience happened to me, I asked some people, to calculate, the casualties, of his battles, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his life, and have comparison, and to my surprise, I got the answer, the casualties of the whole life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Among Muslims it was 1%, among the non-Muslim it was 2%, okay? When you compare it to the Second World War, it was 153%. Why? Because they related it to the total number, of the army, and in the Second War, you have many of the civilians, they were killed, This is out of comparison, 1%, 2%, when you compare it to 153, it's out of comparison. I was quite happy. Then I told myself, whenever you are going to study any case of his sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are going to find it as such, or more. Okay, no surprise there. This is the expectation. We move to another hadith, about the same subject. الحديث العاشر: أخبرنا أبو العباس أحمد بن أبي بكر بن أبي عمر أخبرنا الشمس بن حامد أخبرنا أبو محمد بن غنائم أخبرنا أبو الفضل الدمشقي أخبرنا مؤيد الطوسي أخبرنا محمد الفضل أخبرنا عبد الغافر محمد أخبرنا محمد بن عيسى أخبرنا أبو إسحاق الزاهد أخبرنا الحسين الحافظ. Again, this is the same chain of Muslim, different pattern. أخبرنا حرملة بن يحيى أخبرنا ابن وهب أخبرنا يونس عن ابن شهاب أن سعيد بن المسيب أخبره أن أبا هريرة قال: سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: جعل الله الرحمة 100 جزء فأمسك عنده 99 وأنزل في الأرض جزءا واحدا، فمن ذلك يتراحم الخلائق حتى ترفع الدابة حافرها عن ولدها خشية أن تطأه وتصيبه. This is in the same meaning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 100 rahmah, but here He gave more specific, explanation. When you have the animal, give delivery, to its offspring, and it's going to raise up or lift its, leg, not to hurt it. Okay, yani this is, you have many of those practice, in this life, that scientifically, I don't know if they have the full explanation of it, but here we have the spiritual explanation that this is part, of the mercy, of the 101, which was done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think we should stop here for questions, because we have 15 minutes now. Okay, if anyone have a question, if no questions, we'll carry on.
There's 2 questions here, Shaykh.
Okay.
First one says is, the first question said is, can you tell us a bit about how much love the Prophet ﷺ had for his daughters?
If I told you, I'm going to be completely liar, okay, because this is the level of him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in his love to his daughter, but I know that he used to love his daughter, a lot, and this is well shown, how she felt sad, when he passed away, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yani, what I'm trying to say, all of, or most of the audience, they are going to be parents, I'm sorry to tell you, out of the experience nowadays, I did observe 1 or 2 cases, the parents, they will be materialistic toward their son or toward their offspring. For me personally, really, I felt bad, okay, because this is very bad sign, to have it, and to be that materialistic to that extent, it's really problematic, The Prophet ﷺ love, I'm going to give you a frame, of it, it was spiritual love. It was not physical. He did not get any benefit of his daughter, one of his daughters, was stuck, in Mecca with her husband, when the Prophet ﷺ migrated, and her husband was captured, as a war prisoner, during Badr battle, and she sent that daughter, she sent to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a lot of money, to free him, including a necklace, was given to her by her mother, Sayyidah Khadija, on the day of wedding, When the Prophet ﷺ looked at it, he was affected significantly, and he said, يعني we can, okay, whatever you want, is good. No, what did he say? He said, for those people, in charge, that the one who hold that prisoner, if you feel, to return the money to her, and have her husband return back, do it, Yani, he did not dictate and you should do it, you know. He do it in very, yani this, I don't expect in our time any politician or any military leaders or whatever, you know, is going to have such a practice.
Jazakallah Shaykh. The next question, where does our responsibility end when our children become youth and choose a lifestyle that is un-Islamic? How do we reconcile? And I think the ayah is save yourselves and your families from the fire.
Yes, this is an ayah or verse, you know, in Surah Al-Tahrim, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. We as Muslim, we have the responsibility to protect ourselves, you know, and our family, you know, of being to hellfire. The responsibility, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is too great, you know. Some, they may have failure. They did their duty, but they are going to be to fail, you know, about it, you know. Usually I highlight this picture, you know, from the Quran, you know. Be careful about it. You have this great prophet, you know, and messenger, you know, in Quran. When they have the flooding, you know, Sayyidina Nuh, okay, he called upon his son, you know, to come and join them, you know, in the ship. He said, no, I'm not going to come to you. I'm going to go some physical shelter, you know. I'm going to go to the mountain, you know, and a wave came in between, you know, and took that son, you know, away. Personally, I feel when the Quran describes this picture to you, the Quran is very summarized, you know, book. It's not going to speak anything which is not needed for you. I feel for myself and for the others, this is very important. Be careful, okay? Don't ask, you know, about your children, you know, when they become 15 or 14. You should care about them from the beginning, you know. I know about some people, I did not do it, you know, I'm sorry, myself, you know. Even when their wives, you know, she is pregnant, you know, they are going to apply some Quranic or whatever, you know, to make those people, you know, quite familiar. Yani what I'm trying to say, do your best, you know, to survive your children, you know. If you have failure, not you, someone else have a failure, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best one, you know, to excuse if he did know that I have done everything, you know, needed for that matter, you know. Yeah, what I'm trying to say, I don't expect everyone to be successful in that regard, you know, but we should work hard.
What is the difference between salam and rahmah?
Salam, originally, this is the holy name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rahmah is attribute of Him, you know. When you speak about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala level, when you speak about Arabic language, you know, salam, it means peace, okay, to be secured, okay. Rahmah, to be mercy, okay. You may be peaceful, you know, or secure to the one, you don't feel the mercy or the merciful action, you know, toward him, you know. You may have the merciful, for example, you know, I'll give you this example, it come to my mind, you know. When your offspring or child is sick, you know, you are going to give him a shot, you know, and he's going to cry and is going to suffer a pain, you know, or some surgery or whatever, you know. This is, I don't think you have created to your son, you know, or to your child a peaceful, you know, environment, you know, but this is out of your mercy, okay. And what I'm trying to understand, the peaceful, you know, environment, when you have it quiet, you know. I should highlight, I mentioned, you know, in New Zealand, you know, وَمِنْ آيَاتِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. This is the task, you know, of the wives, okay, to have peaceful environment, you know, at home, okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did mention it before love, before mercy. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً after it, you know. And the great example of it, was Sayyidah Khadija radiallahu anha, because the Prophet ﷺ was a person, who is going to face a lot of problem, and hardship, outside the house, liar, black magician, this and that, of those bad wording, And when he entered the house, Sayyidah Khadija, his wife, will make the house, quite peaceful, You read it in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, or Ya ayyuhal muddathir. When I read them, I cannot help it without thinking, about that great woman, who make the house peaceful for him. And when the Prophet ﷺ respond to this, he gave her the good news, about a house. He did not say palace, in heaven. No noise and peaceful. Yani the response was similar to what she has done, to the Prophet ﷺ. I feel, perhaps the women, they don't, I feel in our time, most of the male, they are under significant pressure, of difficulties, in this life, and we should find this role, take place in all of our houses.
I agree with you, Shaykh. Shaykh, these questions are somewhat related. The first one, how to overcome or fight the nafs. Second one, can you give us some advice on how to deal with an-nafs al-ammara? Can you explain to us how shaitan, the nafs and qareen work against us to deviate us from the straight path?
I'm going to broaden the look a little bit, We have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the physical body. We have the unseen matter, This unseen, it contains secret, sir, contains ruh, contains nafs, yani soul and self. Then the heart, not this bumping, think for blood, the spiritual heart, These are the 4 items. You have massive controversy. Are they the same item or 4 different items? The secret, I look at it as a hotline between anyone, even if he's not a believer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We tend to make this line, has a lot of interference, by being heedless, by eating this, by continuously, sleep or whatever, Then you have the soul, and as mentioned, Sahih Muslim, all of us, we were created with 2 qareen, this mentioned the question, or 2 companies, one from the angel and one from the shaitan. Okay, you should know how to deal with them. And so the qareen from the angel is going to dictate on you through your soul. Okay, you should build your friendship with him. Okay, how? I give you example of it. The Prophet ﷺ did say that whenever the person commits a lie, the angel is going to be far of him, not 1 mile. This mil in Arabic, which is more by 200 meters, than the actual mile that you have it, which is 1600 meters, I think, So roughly of 1800 meters. How do I understand it? It's going to be far of you, not joining you whenever you commit any sinful, action. Some of the people, they may have their angel, on the opposite side, of the earth. The other may have it in other planets, or whatever, This is, I think, we should build our friendship with those angels. On the other hand, you have the shaitan is going to dictate to you, through the nafs. Some may ask, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create nafs? This is, to start with, is important for your survival, When you feel hungry, you are going to eat. When you feel cold, you are going to have some clothes. When it comes above the needed one, you have the obese person, because of overeating, and is going to suffer from hypertension, diabetes, osteoarthritis, and you name it, And in the same pattern, you may have this, to your soul, or inner portion. Examples of it, was mentioned by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When anyone drink, or eat by left hand, the colleague, his colleague will enjoy his time, eating and drinking with him. When he has it in right hand and say Bismillah, he will tell the others, we don't have any food, today. Okay. When you go to bed, you say Bismillah, he's going to tell the other colleagues, we don't have a place, to spend the night, So in my imagination, the shaitan of the believer is going to be malnourished, and weak all the time. For the one who doesn't care, eat in left hand, and with no bismillah, is going to be well built, and very strong one, okay? This is perhaps and then you have the heart, is the decision maker. All of those data, they are going to go to the heart, and the heart to decide, do this or don't do it. Okay? Why we should work hard? In my one view, you may look at anything, in this life, related to this subject, We have, when I'm about to die, and the soul is going to leave the body, you have real battle, take place there, between those who are interested of having you, being, Muslim and saying La ilaha illallah, and those who has the non-belief, and they want you to want that soul to depart from body, the body, in that shape, and they are going to have a battle, and you are stuck in the middle, suffering of something, shortness of breath or chest pain or whatever, and here, if you spend all of your life strengthening those in the right side, they are going to be quite strong, and they are going to defeat the other. When you have the other side, they are quite strong, it may be the opposite case, You may practice, as mentioned by him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or may practice all of your life as good Muslim practitioner, then you lose your faith, at that critical moment, okay? And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he instructed us to say in prayer, وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا وَالْمَمَاتِ. This is the fitna. This is real fitna. This is real critical, matter, If you look at it, you are going to find all of your commands or prohibitions, work for that particular critical moment. Okay, we'll go back to the question: how to take away those bad characters? Okay, all of us, with few exceptions, you have a pile of good characters, you have a pile of bad characters. All of us, Muslim and non-Muslim. Okay, how I'm going to take, the bad characters, The most effective one to have a Shaykh tarbiyah, okay? That means you should have highly educated person, to tell you, listen, you have done this, this is not good for you. Don't do it, I keep remembering, my father, once he was, this is after 2 years of knowing his Shaykh, was alone at home, and some idea passed through his mind, and right away he heard the door knocking, and he opened the door and his Shaykh was there. He said, please don't let this idea come to your mind again. I have heard it frequently from him. Okay, most of us, they don't have Shaykh. What we are going to do, I think, to get over this problem, we should advise each other, Nowadays we feel that we are free, we may do whatever I want to do, No one has the right, to interfere with me, I'm not fair, in those matters, and the advisor is not that fair, also is going to criticize. I would like to see, this has been highlighted in the Quran, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, the believer, you have plenty of them, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, good deeds you have, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا sabr to advise each other, you hardly find anyone, give this advice, Personally, I'm going to speak about my person, Some of dearest person to me, back up till now, I feel something wrong, and I did not give them the advice, for it, Okay, yani this is the case we are living with. Okay, so that's if we get over this problem, and try to advise each other, and this is going to be quite helpful to me, Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, or Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, a person was told by the Prophet that is going to go to heaven. What did he used to say, in his life? Rahim Allah mra'an ahda ilayya ayubi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring the mercy to the one who bring to me, my deficiencies, Why? Because he cares about himself. He cares a lot, about himself, nowadays, if someone has a dirt, on his first face or a spot, or patch, everyone start, whispering and laugh, and is going to feel bad, It's going to be much more worse, when you have it to your soul, You have this dirt, or patch or whatever, that. Okay. Right.
On the subject of rahmah, can we pray for the non-Muslim who's passed away?
This has been mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the absolute and the decision maker. He said, no, we are not permitted to do so. Okay.
What is the ruling on women visiting the graveyard?
This is according to non-Shafi'i. Okay, this is permitted. Some, they may say dislike, some scholars, not all of them, But in Shafi'i, she is prohibited of visiting the grave except the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
In the Hanafi madhab, what is the ruling on praying the sunnah of prayer when traveling? When traveling?
To best of my knowledge, no change in the rules. If you are in the traveling stage, or residence stage, they are going to be the same. And the Hanafi, one of those school that they really they concentrate a lot, on your, they call them rawatib, those sunan.
I'm guessing this is again, Shaykh, a Hanafi madhab question. When visiting Saudi, is it permitted to pray Asr at the Shafi'i timing?
To be open, in this mas'ala, I observed even the Hanafi shuyukh back in Syria, we have the time of Asr, as the other mazhabs. It's not only Shafi'i, all other mazhab, even the companion of Abu Hanifa, they have different opinion than Abu Hanifa. And in my practice, I may be wrong, I observed many of those Hanafi shuyukh, they have it, in this designated time, In the Pakistani and Turkish culture, they may have otherwise, because all of them, they are Hanafi, and they are going to have it, in the Hanafi time, to be in the safe side, this is my understanding. You should have Zuhr before the others, time, and you should, it's better to have Asr, after the time of Hanafi.
So again, Hanafi madhab, what is the ruling on women praying in Jama'ah? Is it preferable to pray at home? Would this ruling apply when visiting Mecca and Medina?
There is a woman companion called Humayd. She was in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet did tell her, I know that you would like, to pray behind me. But to pray in the mosque of your tribe is better than my mosque. To pray in your house is better than praying, in the mosque. To pray in your private room is better than your house. And Humayd, when she heard this from the Prophet ﷺ, going to pray in the darkest area, in her house. Okay. Now, this is the Hanafi opinion. Perhaps the other they may differ. Okay, but nowadays, this is the way you may correct me if I'm wrong, The woman is going to go to all places, except the mosque, So for me, it doesn't make sense, to prohibit her, of going to the mosque, when she is going to go to all other places.
For the Jum'ah prayer, sorry. So this first starts with a statement: Jum'ah prayer is not fard for women, but if they are at a masjid at Jum'ah time, should they pray the Jum'ah salah and the Zohar prayer, or only pray the Zohar prayer?
No, it's better to pray Jumu'ah, and Zuhr.
So in addition to the Jum'ah, Shaykh, they have to pray the Zohar prayer.
Yeah, to be in the safe side.
Shaykh, someone's seeking suggestions. So, suggestions for someone wanting to begin his studies in Islam. Where would you recommend that they go? How would you recommend that they start this journey?
If this person, was in a school, is going to look at his grades, he may have good grades, in Hadith, not good grades, in fiqh or whatever, Yani here, I'll go by this, we are not equal in our qualities, Some of us like Quran, the other like Hadith, the third parties may like, fiqh or whatever, So I highly encourage the people, to go to the same specialty that they feel their heart, or their marks, they go. If did not attend any school before, then you have the heart business, whatever you love more, Yani here, I would like to see the people, they are quite efficient, and skillful, in that matter, It's not a way, of, yalla, okay, in this life, even in this life, the Prophet ﷺ did say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ إِذَا عَمِلَ أَحَدُكُمْ عَمَلًا أَنْ يُتْقِنَهُ. That's mean to be efficient, in whatever, work. You are physician, you are computer fixer, are this or that, you should do it in a very perfect way, And for Islamic sciences, they are the same, Yeah, if I want to speak about myself, I observed many shuyukh, back in Syria, they would like their children to be shuyukh. I'm not interested at all of having, my children, as shuyukh. I would like them to be religious. They are fearful of Allah. Why? Why not shuyukh? Because this is specialty. This is science, I don't encourage anyone to go in that particular field, except the one who is interested in it.
Shaykh, this reads, I'm inspired by people who have mastered both worldly and sacred sciences. Can you share your journey in seeking sacred knowledge?
I did not fully understand, this question.
So,
share what?
I'm just thinking how to rephrase it, Shaykh. I'm guessing, Shaykh, and whoever asked the question, feel free to clarify.
To repeat the question, please. Yes, okay.
And if they're too shy, Shaykh, I'm just going to try and interpret it.
No. Perhaps I did not understand. I'm not that good, in English.
I'll say the question again, Shaykh.
Okay.
I'm inspired by people who have mastered both worldly and sacred sciences. Can you share your journey in seeking sacred knowledge?
And as I said, this morning, for sure, firstly, this is an inherited matter, In our family, we have some people, who are interested in reading, massive reading, And I am one of them, But subhanallah, my reading was toward, Islamic and sacred knowledge, And we have the library, of my grandfather, part of it, which helped me a lot, in this, So anyone who wants to be as such, not to be a sheikh or what, to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are really need, those skillful people, They should show their effort of understanding and being scientific, and they should seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is taken, from Surah Al-Fatiha, when you say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. In all of your actions, you should show your efforts, and you should seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's the end of the questions. Shaykh.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair.
Sorry, Shaykh, please.
Sheikh, why we should, any sins if we not follow his cause, a message? Because on the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was no message. What we just follow Akli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That is in Sunnah, sins. For example, if somebody just follow Akli Sunnah wal Jama'ah, just follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't have to consider the message is after the Prophet.
And if I fully understand, we have two components of this question. The first component, the personality of the Prophet was quite easy and simple and attractive. I'm sorry to tell you, nowadays we suffer of this problem. You have some vacuum, between the shuyukh, and the people. Why? Perhaps they hold part of the responsibility because they are not that simple, they are complicated, They are going to complicate the case. I have heard this, by my ear, in the broadcasting, a person in Manaq al-Falah, 55 Sunnah. If anyone, listen and hear, for the prayer you have 55 Sunnah, forget it, I'm not going to pray, Okay. I try to simplify, try to be simple, try to be, among your people, Don't show that, if this is, fuqah rules, in Hanafi mazhab, this is the second point. Okay, if you are determined, I'm not going to pray in the mosque at all, you are sinful, you should have it, once on a while, when you go to the mosque, if I fully understand your question.
So, just to go back to the question, because I didn't understand. So, any sins if, for example, someone not practiced this formats or whatever, just follow the Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
Okay, if this is an obligation, is going to be sinful. If this compulsory is going to be sinful. If it's Sunnah Mu'akkada, confirmed tradition, and he put in mind, I'm not going to do it at all, it's going to be sinful according to Hanafi, whereas the other practices is not highly recommended. They are recommended.
So, Shaykh, there's one more question. When is the latest time one can pray Maghrib prayer? Can one pray Maghrib more than an hour after the sunset?
This is as a time fixed, he or she may, but the recommendation from the Prophet that we should pray Maghrib right away after the sunset, and that's what I like from my side, or from anyone's side, pray Maghrib right away after sunset. Jazakumullah khair.